In the outermost reaches of the cosmos, a solitary machine wanders. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, humanity's farthest flung emissary. For nearly 50 years it has traversed the interstellar void, its journey marked by unprecedented discoveries, from Jupiter's icy moons to Saturn's rings and beyond. Now, after decades of silence, Voyager 2 has transmitted a signal so structured and deliberate that scientists are stunned. The transmission, detected on October 29, 2023, lasted 17.3 seconds. Received by the Deep Space Network, it stood out against the cosmic background noise, faint but unmistakably rhythmic. The signal repeats every 2.7 seconds, pulsing with mathematical precision, hinting at an intelligence beyond our comprehension. As researchers rush to decode the transmission, one truth emerges. Something is tracking Voyager 2. You're standing on the edge of something humanity was never meant to find. If that idea gives you chills, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your theory. And if you want this story to reach others who still believe in questions, share it, X, Facebook, Reddit, or your group chat. You're helping light up the dark. Thank you for being part of this. The signal's meaning and origin remain elusive. With Voyager 2 nearing the end of its operational life, this enigmatic transmission has become humanity's greatest mystery. Some see it as a warning from a civilization observing our cosmic expansion. Others fear it might test our defenses. As we confront the possibility of not being alone, the silence of space has been broken by a whisper that challenges our understanding of our place in the universe. Are we prepared for what it might reveal? Its cameras captured breathtaking images of icy moons and swirling storms, while its instruments sampled the magnetic fields and plasma environments of these distant worlds. But after its final planetary encounter in 1989, Voyager 2 did not shut down. Instead, it entered an extended mission, pushing deeper into the unknown. For 46 years it has drifted through the cosmos, crossing the heliosphere and entering the interstellar medium, a region where sunlight is nothing more than a faint memory. Its instruments, though outdated by today's standards, remain remarkably sensitive, designed to detect the subtlest changes in plasma waves, magnetic fields, and cosmic radiation. Even now, Voyager 2 transmits data back to Earth, a whisper from the edge of the abyss, travelling over 17 light hours to reach us. The spacecraft's power source, a plutonium-238 radioisotope thermoelectric generator, has far exceeded its expected operational lifespan. Originally designed to provide power for only 5 years, it has endured for nearly a half-century, though its output has gradually declined. By 2023, Voyager 2's power levels have dropped to approximately 60% of their original capacity, forcing engineers to prioritize which systems remain active. Despite these challenges, the spacecraft continues to operate, a testament to human ingenuity and the resilience of its design. But recently, something unprecedented occurred. A low-frequency spike appeared in the data, repeating every 11.2 seconds, a clock hidden in the void. Engineers initially dismissed it as a glitch, perhaps a malfunctioning sensor or a software anomaly. After all, Voyager 2 is far beyond its expected operational lifespan, its systems worn by decades of exposure to the harsh radiation of deep space. Yet further analysis revealed a chilling truth. The pulse was external, increasing in strength, and carrying a spectral signature, unlike anything ever observed. It was not the spacecraft speaking to us. It was something else. The signal's origin remains a mystery, but its characteristics are increasingly well documented. The pulse's frequency, measured at approximately 0.09 Hz, falls within the extremely low-frequency ELF range, far below the audible spectrum for humans. This range is typically associated with natural phenomena like lightning or solar flares, but the signal's regularity and growing intensity defy such explanations. Observations. The pulse's precise interval and growing intensity defy natural explanations. It does not align with any known astronomical phenomenon, such as pulsars, which emit regular pulses but at much faster rates, typically between 1 and 1,000 milliseconds. The signal's frequency is also too low to be attributed to common cosmic sources like quasars or gamma-ray bursts, which emit radiation at much higher frequencies. Moreover, its increasing strength suggests a source that is either approaching Voyager 2 or amplifying its transmission over time. Interpretation. This is not cosmic background noise, it is a structured, deliberate signal. The 11.2-second interval is too regular to be random. It implies an underlying order, a pattern that suggests intent rather than chance. The signal's unique spectral signature further supports this idea, as it does not match any known natural or artificial sources. It is as if something out there is broadcasting a message, one crafted with precision and purpose. Speculation. Could this be a form of communication, a mathematical language spoken by something beyond our understanding? The use of prime numbers or repeating intervals has long been proposed as a universal language for interstellar communication. The 11.2-second pulse could be a starting point, a way to establish a common reference frame. Alternatively, it might be a beacon, a signal designed to attract attention without conveying complex information. But who or what is sending it, and why? The implications are staggering. If this signal is intentional, it suggests an intelligence capable of manipulating electromagnetic waves with surgical precision. Such an ability would require a deep understanding of physics, perhaps far beyond our own. It would also imply the existence of technology that can generate and transmit such a signal across vast distances, a feat that challenges our current scientific capabilities. And as Voyager 2 continues its journey, one question haunts us. What is out there, and why has it chosen to reveal itself now? As the spacecraft drifts deeper into interstellar space, the signal grows stronger. It is a silent witness to something extraordinary, a mystery that stretches across light years and eons. Every 11.2 seconds the pulse repeats, a rhythmic heartbeat in the void. It is a reminder that the universe is not silent, not empty, but filled with whispers we have yet to understand. And somewhere out there, beyond the reach of our telescopes and the limits of our imagination, something is waiting. In the dimly lit control rooms of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, scientists monitor Voyager 2's data with a mix of awe and apprehension. The spacecraft's transmissions, faint and slow, are received by the Deep Space Network, a global array of antennas capable of detecting signals as weak as a few trillionths of a watt. The data is then painstakingly decoded, bit by bit, revealing the secrets of the interstellar medium and the enigmatic pulse that now dominates the conversation. Each new piece of information deepens the mystery, drawing us closer to an answer, or perhaps to more questions. At the heart of this enigma lies the possibility of contact with an intelligence beyond our world. If confirmed, it would mark a turning point in human history, a moment when our place in the cosmos becomes both smaller and more profound. Yet, for now, the signal remains a riddle, a pattern in the noise that challenges our understanding of the universe and our role within it. As Voyager 2 sails onward, it carries the hopes and dreams of humanity, a silent emissary to the stars, and perhaps a silent witness to something far greater. Part 2, The Unseen Companion. A faint signal disrupts the silence of space, baffling NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Analysts crowd around screens trying to decipher this cosmic enigma that resists easy explanation. The questions hang heavy in the air. What is this signal? Where did it originate? And most unsettlingly, is it responding to us? The room is a flurry of hushed conversations and the hum of machines processing data. Coffee cups litter the desks, evidence of sleepless nights spent grappling with this mysterious transmission. The air is thick with the scent of ozone from overheated circuits and the faint, lingering aroma of stale pizza, a testament to the relentless hours poured into this puzzle. The signal was first detected on February 14, 1990 by Voyager 2, then over 3.8 billion miles from Earth. It pulsed every 18.3 seconds, barely distinguishable from cosmic noise, but persistent. The team questioned whether it was a glitch or something more. The signal, faint but unmistakable, was a ghostly whisper in the vast void of space, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to defy the randomness of cosmic static. It was as if the universe itself was tapping out a message, one that teased the edges of human comprehension. Triangulation revealed the source, an object moving parallel to Voyager 2, seemingly tracking it. The object, defying known orbital mechanics, accelerated and decelerated in bursts, independent of gravity. Analysts watched in disbelief as it mirrored Voyager's course corrections, suggesting an uncanny awareness or control. The object's movements were not just precise, but eerily anticipatory, as if it could predict Voyager's adjustments before they happened. This implied a level of intelligence or technology that left the team grappling for explanations. Over the next 48 hours, the team gathered data. The object, dubbed Echo, stayed 12 million kilometers from Voyager, its size comparable to a small asteroid but with erratic mass readings. Its movements anticipated Voyager's adjustments, hinting at an intelligence that defied human understanding. Echo's mass readings fluctuated wildly, suggesting a composition or technology that could manipulate its own density. This was not just an object. It seemed almost alive, a silent sentinel shadowing Voyager through the cosmos. Newtonian physics failed to explain Echo's behavior. Its precise, responsive movements suggested it was not just an object, but something more. On the third day, Dr. Amelia Hart discovered a correlation. Echo was mirroring Voyager's signals, altering them as if trying to communicate. The team huddled around her screen, watching as she overlaid the signals, revealing patterns that were impossible to dismiss as coincidence. Echo wasn't just mimicking the signal, it was transforming it, weaving its own message into the fabric of Voyager's transmission. The signal wasn't a random reflection, but a deliberate modification. Patterns within it had been rearranged, sending shockwaves through the team. If Echo understood and manipulated human technology, It implied an intelligence far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The implications were staggering. If Echo could interpret and alter Voyager's signal, it meant it had not only the capacity to understand human technology, but also the intent to communicate. This was not just a scientific breakthrough, it was a watershed moment in human history. Echo's trajectory and behavior defy known celestial phenomena. Its ability to modify Voyager's signals suggests an intelligence capable of understanding human technology. Speculation swirls. Is this evidence of extraterrestrial life, a rogue satellite, or something else entirely? The team grapples with the possibilities, their minds racing with questions that feel as vast and unknowable as the cosmos itself. Voyager 2, once just a probe, now seems like a mirror reflecting a profound truth. The golden record aboard feels less like a message and more like a beacon. We are not alone, and something out there is watching. But what does it want? The question hangs in the air like a spectre, haunting the team as they stare into the abyss of space, searching for answers that seem just out of reach. In the following days, the team works to decode the modified signal. The alterations follow a distinct mathematical pattern, repeating every 7.2 hours. Dr. Hart leads the effort, unraveling a sequence that is undeniably intentional, yet elusive in meaning. The team spends countless hours poring over the data, their eyes bloodshot from staring at screens, their minds racing with possibilities. The signal is a riddle, a cosmic puzzle that seems to invite humanity to solve it, to bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. Observation. The echo signal is more than a reflection. It is a deliberate transmission. The precise modifications suggest an intelligence surpassing human comprehension, hinting at a form of communication we cannot yet understand. The team is humbled by the realization that they are witnessing something far beyond their current understanding of the universe. Speculation. If the echo is extraterrestrial, its ability to manipulate our technology raises questions about its origins and intentions. Is it an ancient sentinel or a contemporary observer from deep space? The possibilities are endless and unsettling. The team grapples with the idea that they may be communicating with an intelligence that has existed for millennia, silently watching the cosmos unfold. Interpretation. The echo marks a turning point in human history, the first tangible evidence that we are not alone. The golden record, once a symbol of human achievement, now feels like a call into the cosmic abyss. For the first time, it seems someone or something has answered. The team is awestruck by the realization that humanity is no longer alone in the universe, that the vast expanse of space is not just empty void, but a canvas teeming with possibilities and unknowns. As the team studies the echo, the questions grow louder. What does it want? Why reveal itself now? And what if we fail to understand its message? The answers, if they exist, lie hidden in the depths of space, waiting for humanity to uncover them. For now, we listen, wait, and wonder. Our eyes turn to the stars, our minds filled with the boundless potential of the universe and the mysteries it holds. Part 3. The Ancient Echo. What if the signal isn't just a message, but a test? When linguists and signal theorists analyzed the anomalous transmission, they discovered binary segments that did not originate from Voyager 2's command protocols. Visualized using pattern recognition tools, these segments formed symmetrical shapes, spirals that mirrored the golden ratio, fractals that mimicked the branching of trees, and geometric alignments eerily reminiscent of ancient symbols found on Earth. From the wedge-shaped impressions of Sumerian cuneiform to the sprawling lines of Nazca glyphs etched into the Peruvian desert, these patterns seemed to transcend time and culture. They weren't just signals, they were glyphs encoded in waveforms, a universal language of mathematics and geometry. The team at the SETI Institute, led by Dr. Amelia Hart, spent countless hours deciphering the signal's structure. They discovered that the binary sequences were not merely random noise, but followed a precise, repetitive pattern. These patterns were layered, like the concentric circles of a mandala, with each layer building on the previous one. The longer they studied the signal, the more they realized it was not a simple transmission, but a complex, multi-dimensional message. It was as if the signal was designed to be unraveled, piece by piece, like a cosmic puzzle. Observations. The signal structure is non-random and consistent with intelligent design. The binary sequences align with mathematical constants such as pi and phi, suggesting a deep understanding of universal principles. The signal's frequency, 1420.4 MHz, corresponds to the hydrogen line, the most abundant element in the universe, further hinting at a deliberate choice. Interpretation. The glyphs suggest an attempt to encode visual concepts using electromagnetic harmonics. The use of ancient symbols could imply a connection to humanity's collective history, a way to bridge the gap between civilizations separated by light years. The signal's complexity and symmetry indicate a sophistication far beyond human capability, suggesting an advanced civilization with a profound grasp of both art and science. Speculation. Could this be a test, a way to measure whether humanity has reached a point where it can recognize complexity buried within the cosmos? Is it possible that the signal's creators have been observing Earth for millennia, embedding their knowledge in our earliest cultures? Or is this a first contact, a beacon from a distant star system that has only now intersected with our technological advancements? As scientists delve deeper, the signal's true purpose becomes more apparent. It is not just a broadcast, it is a riddle waiting to be solved. The team at SETI began to see patterns within patterns, layers of meaning that seemed to unfold endlessly. One sequence, when translated into a three-dimensional model, formed a spiral that resembled the shape of a galaxy. Another sequence, when played as sound, produced a haunting melody that echoed the frequencies of celestial bodies. Each discovery led to more questions, but also to a growing sense of awe and connection to something vast and unknown. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, was designed to explore the outer reaches of the solar system. Its mission was to study the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and send back data that would revolutionize our understanding of the cosmos. But as the spacecraft ventured beyond the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence ends, it became something more. A messenger, carrying humanity's story into the void. On board Voyager 2 is the Golden Record, a phonograph disc containing sounds and images from Earth, a snapshot of human culture, intended as a greeting to any extraterrestrial intelligence that might one day encounter it. The signal, received in the quiet hours of a winter night, was a response to that greeting. It was a whisper from the cosmos, a reminder that humanity is not alone in its quest to understand the universe. As Voyager 2 continues its journey, now over 12 billion miles from Earth, one thing is clear. Someone out there has finally decided to answer back. The signal's origins remain a mystery, but its message is unmistakable. It is a call to exploration, a challenge to decipher the language of the stars, and a promise that beyond the silence of space, there is meaning waiting to be found. Part 4. The Recursive Loop. A young physicist at Caltech made a groundbreaking discovery. Tucked away in a cluttered lab in the sub-basement of the astrophysics department, surrounded by humming servers and tangled cables, Ava Patel stared into the glow of her monitor. Her eyes traced the cascading lines of data scrolling across the screen, the product of weeks of tireless work and endless cups of coffee. The room was thick with the smell of ozone and the faint buzz of overworked processors as she fed the anomalous signal into the system. Using a deep neural AI designed to simulate cryptographic responses, the physicist fed the anomalous signal into the system. The AI, named Elysian, was a marvel of modern engineering, a network of synthetic neurons capable of processing information at speeds unimaginable to the human mind. Its architecture was inspired by the intricate webs of biological brains, but its capabilities were entirely alien, a testament to humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge. What came back wasn't just a translation, it was a recurrence. The AI began producing predictive responses, patterns that mirrored the transmission's logic, anticipating what might come next. This would be impossible unless the signal itself was recursive, a loop meant to provoke interaction, like a riddle waiting to be solved. The implications were staggering. If the signal was indeed recursive, it suggested an intelligence behind it, one that understood not just the mechanics of communication, but the nuances of engagement. It was as if the signal was not merely a broadcast, but a conversation starter, a cosmic hello designed to spark a dialogue. Ava's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her glasses, her mind racing with the possibilities. The room seemed to shrink around her, the weight of discovery pressing in from all sides. Observations. The AI's ability to predict the signal's patterns suggests a recursive structure. The recursive nature of the signal was not random. It followed a precise mathematical logic, repeating in cycles that were both elegant and deeply complex. Each iteration seemed to build on the last, like a symphony growing in intensity and depth. The patterns were not static but dynamic, evolving in ways that defied easy explanation. Interpretation. The signal is designed to engage, to draw us into a conversation. It was as if the signal was not just a message but a puzzle, a challenge issued across the void of space. The idea that something or someone out there was trying to communicate in a way that required active participation was both exhilarating and terrifying. It implied a level of sophistication far beyond anything humans had ever encountered. Speculation. What if this isn't just a message, but an invitation to respond? And what happens if we do? The possibilities were endless. If humanity responded, would it open the door to a new era of interstellar communication? Or would it expose Earth to unknown dangers lurking in the cosmos? The stakes were high, and the consequences of a response could alter the course of human history forever. At the same time, Voyager 1, located billions of kilometers away, registered a magnetic fluctuation similar to Voyager 2's original pulse. The Voyager probes, launched in the late 1970s, had long since left the familiar confines of the solar system, drifting into the vast expanse of interstellar space. They were humanity's emissaries, carrying golden records etched with sounds and images of Earth, a testament to human achievement and curiosity. Now, after decades of silence, they were picking up signals that defied explanation. 2 spacecraft, 2 anomalies, and a growing sense that these events are not isolated, but part of something coordinated. The coincidence was too great to ignore. The signals detected by Voyager 1 and 2 seemed to align with the recursive patterns observed by Ava's AI, as if they were all part of a larger, interconnected puzzle. Scientists around the world began to take notice, their collective curiosity piqued by the strange occurrences. Conferences were held, papers were written, and theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. The question is no longer what is out there, but why now? Why, after almost 50 years of silence, has something suddenly responded? The silence of the cosmos had been a constant companion to astronomers, a reminder of the vast, empty distances between the stars. But now, that silence was broken, and the universe seemed to be speaking back. The timing was curious. Why now, after so many years of quiet? Was it a coincidence, or was there a deeper purpose behind the sudden communication? The answers remained elusive, but the quest for understanding had begun. Ava Patel, along with countless other scientists, stood on the precipice of discovery. Their eyes turned toward the stars, their minds filled with questions. The universe had issued a challenge, and humanity was ready to accept it, whatever the consequences might be. Part 5. The Silence of Machines. Just as scientists thought they had more time to decode the signal, Voyager 2 went completely silent. The sudden absence of the familiar hum that had been a constant companion for decades was unsettling. In the control rooms at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, the silence was deafening. Engineers accustomed to the steady rhythm of data streaming from the spacecraft were met with an unnerving void. Initially, ground control assumed it was a hardware malfunction. After all, the spacecraft is over 46 years old, having been launched in 1977, and its systems were designed with technology that was already becoming obsolete by the end of the Apollo era. Voyager 2 had far outlived its original mission parameters, traveling farther from Earth than any human-made object in history. Its resilience was a testament to the ingenuity of its creators, but no one expected it to last forever. The possibility of a critical component failing after nearly half a century in the harsh environment of space was not just plausible, it seemed inevitable. But then a wave of identical anomalies struck. Deep Space Network, DSN receivers across the globe reported a perfect loss of signal at the exact same timestamp, 1437 UTC. The DSN, a network of massive antennas strategically placed in California, Spain, and Australia to ensure constant communication with spacecraft, had never experienced such a synchronized outage. The chances of a global simultaneous failure are practically zero, especially considering the redundancy and geographic isolation of the facilities. This wasn't equipment error. Something had cut off the signal from the outside, surgically and deliberately, with timing that matched the very pulse pattern Voyager had detected. The precision was unsettling, as if whatever was responsible had studied the system intimately. The simultaneous loss of signal across multiple receivers suggests an external intervention. The timing and precision of the blackout imply an intelligence capable of coordinating on a global scale. The fact that the outage aligned with the pulse pattern detected by Voyager raises the possibility of a connection between the two events. Whether this was a deliberate act of communication or disruption remains unclear. But the blackout didn't last long. 5 minutes later, a narrowband radio wave hit Earth from the same quadrant of space. It carried no identifiable structure, but its strength matched that of signals we've only ever observed from distant pulsars. Pulsars, rapidly spinning neutron stars that emit beams of electromagnetic radiation, are some of the most extreme objects in the universe. Their signals are so powerful they can be detected across vast interstellar distances, serving as cosmic lighthouses for astronomers. Except this wasn't from a neutron star. It was from somewhere near Voyager 2, and it was getting closer. The signal's intensity increased steadily, as if the source was moving toward Earth at an alarming speed. Observation. The narrowband signal's characteristics defy conventional explanation. Its frequency and amplitude suggest a source of immense energy, yet its origin remains untraceable to any known astronomical object. The signal's trajectory appears to be intentionally aligned with Voyager 2's position, further suggesting a deliberate act. As the minutes ticked by, scientists scrambled to analyze the incoming signal. The DSN antennas, each capable of detecting whispers from the edges of the cosmos, were pushed to their limits. Data streamed into supercomputers where algorithms designed to decode the faintest murmurs of distant stars worked tirelessly to make sense of the anomaly. Yet the signal remained stubbornly enigmatic, refusing to yield any recognizable pattern or meaning. It was as if the universe itself had decided to speak in a language humanity had yet to learn. Interpretation. The signal's arrival following Voyager 2's silence suggests a causal relationship. Whatever cut off the spacecraft's transmission may have intentionally replaced it with this new signal. The fact that the signal's strength rivals that of pulsars implies a technological capability far beyond our own. Whether this is a form of communication or a warning remains speculative, but the urgency of the signal's approach demands immediate attention. Speculation. If the signal is indeed a form of communication, it raises questions about its intended recipient. Is it directed at humanity, or is Voyager 2 itself the target? The spacecraft's interstellar journey has carried it beyond the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind gives way to interstellar space. Perhaps it has entered a region of the cosmos where such signals are commonplace, or perhaps it has drawn the attention of something far older and more advanced than we can imagine. As scientists debated the signal's origins, the DSN antennas continued to track its approach. The signal's intensity grew stronger with each passing second, as if the source was not just moving toward Earth but accelerating. The implications were staggering. If the signal was indeed coming from a physical object, its speed would need to be unprecedented, defying the limits of known propulsion technology. Yet the data was undeniable. Something was closing in, and it was moving faster than anything humanity had ever encountered. The silence of Voyager 2 had given way to a new mystery, one that challenged the very foundations of our understanding of the cosmos. The spacecraft, once a symbol of human ingenuity and exploration, had become a herald of the unknown, a silent sentinel at the edge of interstellar space. And now, it seemed, something had answered its call. The question was no longer whether we were alone in the universe. It was whether we were ready for the truth. Part 6. The Echo Lantern. In a classified briefing, data leaked from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory revealed a chilling update. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with tension. On the screen, a grainy, pixelated image flickered, showing a trajectory map that sent shivers down the spines of the assembled scientists and military personnel. A foreign object, now codenamed Echo Lantern, had begun to alter course in response to Earth's deep space network pings. Its trajectory showed it adjusting slightly every time Earth sent a command or signal burst toward Voyager 2, the spacecraft launched in 1977 that had long since ventured into interstellar space. The implication was staggering. This thing wasn't just hearing us. It was studying our method of communication, learning how we ping and probe spacecraft. Worse still, its path was no longer random. It was on an intercept trajectory, not toward Voyager 2, but toward our solar system. Every adjustment it made seemed to bring it closer to us, a silent and unnerving approach. The Deep Space Network, DSN, a global array of antennas designed to communicate with spacecraft billions of miles away, had become an unintended lighthouse. Its signals, meant to guide and command our own probes, were now being used by something else. Echo Lantern's responses were precise, almost surgical. Each time the DSN sent a burst of radio waves, Echo Lantern would shift its course by fractions of a degree, aligning itself more perfectly with the trajectory that would bring it into our cosmic neighborhood. The calculations were undeniable. At its current speed and trajectory, it would reach the outer edges of our solar system within the decade. The object's ability to interpret and react to human-made signals suggested an intelligence far beyond anything ever encountered. It wasn't just a passive observer, it was actively engaging with our technology, turning our own tools into a means of tracking us. Observations. Echo Lantern's ability to respond to Earth signals suggests a high level of intelligence. Its movements were not random fluctuations, but deliberate, calculated adjustments. Each shift in its trajectory corresponded exactly with the timing and frequency of the DSN's transmissions, leaving no room for coincidence. The object seemed to understand the language of radio waves, the universal medium of cosmic communication. It was as if it had been listening for centuries, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Interpretation. Its intercept trajectory implies intent, a deliberate move toward our solar system. The implications were profound and unsettling. If Echo Lantern was indeed on a deliberate course toward us, it meant that it had not only detected our presence, but had also decided to engage. This was no longer a passive observation, it was an active approach, a decision made by an entity that understood the significance of its actions. The question was no longer whether it existed, but what it wanted. Speculation. What if Echo Lantern isn't just observing us, but preparing for contact? And what happens when it arrives? The possibilities were as endless as they were terrifying. If Echo Lantern was preparing for contact, what form would that contact take? Would it be a peaceful exchange of information, a cosmic handshake between civilizations, or would it be something more sinister, an invasion of our space, our technology, our very existence? The unknown loomed large, casting a shadow over every hypothesis. Analysts could only guess at the object's true nature and intentions, but one thing was clear. It was coming, and humanity had to be ready. Analysts gave it the name echolantern because it seemed to behave like an entity mimicking light and shadow, communication and silence, turning our own technology into its beacon. The name was a nod to its enigmatic nature, a play on the idea of an echo, a reflection of our own signals, a mirror of our attempts to reach out into the cosmos. Yet, unlike an echo, echolantern was not merely a reflection. It was active, responsive, and seemingly aware. It was as if the universe had finally answered our calls, but the answer was not what we expected. The name stuck, whispered in hushed tones in the halls of NASA and the Pentagon. Echolantern had become a symbol of both wonder and fear, a cosmic riddle that humanity was desperate to solve. And as it moved closer to the heliopause, the invisible bubble separating solar winds from the interstellar medium, a strange thing happened. The solar wind itself bent. This phenomenon, observed by satellites and ground-based telescopes, defied all known physics. The solar wind, a stream of charged particles flowing outward from the sun, should have remained constant, unaffected by external forces. Yet, as echolantern approached, the wind seemed to curve around it, as if the object were exerting an invisible force. The images captured by NASA's solar observatories showed a distinct warping, a ripple in the fabric of space itself. It was as if echolantern were carving a path through the cosmos, altering the very environment it passed through. Scientists scrambled to explain the phenomenon, but no theory could fully account for what they were witnessing. Some suggested that echolantern was surrounded by a magnetic field of unprecedented strength, capable of manipulating the solar wind. Others proposed that the object was composed of exotic matter, a substance unknown to human science, which interacted with the solar particles in ways we couldn't yet understand. Still others whispered of more fantastical explanations, that echolantern was not an object at all but a living entity, a cosmic being that could bend the laws of physics to its will. Whatever the truths, one thing was certain. Echolantern was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, and its approach signaled a turning point in our understanding of the universe. As the months passed, echolantern continued its steady advance. Its trajectory remained unchanged, a straight line aimed directly at our solar system. Every attempt to communicate with it, from simple mathematical sequences to complex encoded messages, was met with silence. Yet its movements spoke louder than any response. It was coming, and nothing seemed capable of stopping it. Governments around the world began to prepare, not just for the scientific implications, but for the societal upheaval that would inevitably follow. How would humanity react to the arrival of an alien intelligence? Would there be panic, or would there be unity? The world held its breath, waiting for the moment when echolantern would cross the final threshold and enter our domain. The countdown had begun, and with it, a new chapter in human history. Part 7. The solar veil instruments aboard NASA's IBEX probe and ESA's solar orbiter recorded a dip in solar wind pressure, followed by a complete collapse of flow along a narrow corridor stretching out in the direction of Voyager 2. The data was stark and unprecedented. Solar wind, the relentless stream of charged particles that fills the void of the heliosphere, had been halted in its tracks. The corridor, later termed the solar veil, measured approximately 1.2 million kilometers in width and extended over 100 million kilometers in length. For 3 hours, this region of space was devoid of the usual radiation and particle activity, creating a zone of eerie, cosmic silence. This had never happened before. Solar wind is constant unless interrupted by something massive, like a planetary magnetosphere or an unknown field emitter. The magnetic fields of planets like Earth and Jupiter are known to deflect solar wind, but these disruptions are localized and predictable. The solar veil, however, was neither. It appeared spontaneously, far beyond the influence of any known celestial body, and its behavior defied all conventional explanations. The absence of solar wind in this region was so complete that scientists initially questioned the accuracy of their instruments. Yet, as multiple probes confirmed the phenomenon, the reality became undeniable. Something had temporarily altered the fundamental behavior of the heliosphere. Yet this corridor, now called the solar veil, remained open for 3 hours before collapsing in on itself. The event was not gradual but abrupt, as if a switch had been flipped. Inside that corridor, no radiation, no particles, just silence. It was as if something had opened a door, not through space, but through the physics that govern it. The implications were staggering. Solar wind is not merely a feature of the sun, but a critical component of the interstellar ecosystem, shaping the behavior of particles and fields across vast distances. For it to be manipulated in such a precise and localized manner suggested an intervention on a scale previously unimagined. Observation. The solar veil's precise alignment with Voyager 2's trajectory was not initially recognized. It was only after cross-referencing the probe's telemetry with the solar veil's coordinates that scientists realized the two were connected. The odds of this alignment occurring by chance were calculated to be less than 1 in a billion. The solar veil is the first evidence of intentional manipulation of solar particles. The only candidate capable of triggering it is still tracking near Voyager 2. This unidentified object, now designated as UO1, had been observed intermittently for years, its behavior erratic and inexplicable. Unlike asteroids or comets, UO1 exhibited no predictable orbit or trajectory. Instead, it seemed to move with purpose, adjusting its course in ways that suggested intent rather than gravitational influence. Its proximity to Voyager 2 during the solar veil event cemented its status as the prime suspect. Scientists are now calling this event the first evidence of intentional manipulation of solar particles. The idea that an external force could alter the behavior of solar wind challenged the foundations of heliophysics. Yet the evidence was irrefutable. The solar veil's existence, however brief, demonstrated that the heliosphere was not the immutable domain scientists had long believed it to be. Instead, it was vulnerable to manipulation, and the implications of this vulnerability were profound. If solar wind could be controlled, then so too could the environments of planets, moons, and even entire star systems. The possibility of such power in the hands of an unknown entity was both exhilarating and terrifying. And as Voyager 2's systems were reviewed after the anomaly, engineers made a chilling discovery. Several command subroutines in the spacecraft's onboard computer had been rewritten. Not corrupted, not glitched, rewritten. Lines of code that hadn't changed in 46 years had suddenly updated themselves with syntax that Voyager's processors weren't even designed to interpret. The changes were subtle but unmistakable, embedded deep within the probe's operational framework. They seemed to serve no immediate purpose, yet their presence was undeniable. Voyager was executing instructions outside its original programming, and no one could explain how or why. Speculation. The rewritten code within Voyager 2 may have been a prelude to a larger intervention. Some scientists have theorized that the changes were a test, a way for the unknown entity to demonstrate its capabilities without causing significant disruption. Others have suggested a more ominous interpretation, that the code was a Trojan horse, designed to lie dormant until activated by an external signal. Whatever the truth, the implications were clear. Voyager 2 was no longer merely a spacecraft, but a potential vector for something far more significant. The mystery deepened as researchers attempted to reverse engineer the altered code. The syntax was unlike anything they had encountered, combining elements of binary logic with patterns that seemed almost organic in nature. It was as if the code had evolved, adapting itself to the probe's systems in ways that defied human design. Attempts to simulate the code's behavior yielded inconclusive results, but one thing became clear: the changes were not random. They exhibited a level of sophistication that suggested a deep understanding of Voyager's architecture, one that surpassed even the knowledge of its original designers. In the weeks that followed, the solar veil became a focal point for debate within the scientific community. Some argued that the event was a natural phenomenon, albeit one that challenged existing models of heliophysics. Others saw it as evidence of an intelligence far beyond human comprehension, an entity capable of manipulating the fabric of space itself. Theories ranged from the plausible to the fantastical, but all agreed on one point. The solar veil represented a turning point in humanity's understanding of the cosmos. It was a reminder that, despite centuries of exploration and discovery, the universe remained a place of profound mystery and unseen possibilities. For the team monitoring Voyager 2, the implications were more immediate. The probe, already a relic of a bygone era, had become a living artifact of something far greater. Its continued operation was no longer just a testament to human ingenuity, but a potential window into the unknown. As the spacecraft pressed onward into the interstellar void, its every signal was now scrutinized with renewed intensity. The silence of the solar veil had given way to a new kind of silence, one of anticipation, of waiting for the next sign, the next revelation. And as the stars stretched out before it, Voyager 2 carried with it the weight of a question that had haunted humanity for millennia. Are we alone in the universe? Part 8. The Hijacked Message. The rewritten subroutines pointed to one specific function: long-range transmission broadcast, but not toward Earth, toward deep interstellar space. The implications of this revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Voyager 2, a probe launched in 1977 with the modest goal of exploring the outer planets, had now become an unintended beacon, broadcasting into the cosmic void. The probe, traveling at a velocity of approximately 17 kilometers per second, had long since left the familiar confines of our solar system, entering the interstellar medium in 2018. Its onboard systems, designed to withstand the harsh conditions of deep space, were now repurposed for a task far beyond their original intent. Voyager 2 wasn't just listening anymore. It was responding, and we have no idea what it said. The transmission, lasting exactly 47 minutes and 13 seconds, was encoded in a format that bore no resemblance to any known human or machine language. Teams of cryptographers and linguists working in secure facilities across 3 continents scrambled to decode the message, but progress was slow. The sheer volume of data, over 2.3 gigabytes of compressed binary sequences, added to the challenge. Meanwhile, the probe continued its journey, now more than 125 astronomical units from Earth, its signal growing fainter with each passing day. Within hours of this discovery, several global observatories were ordered to redirect their instruments without explanation. Their targets, 3 specific sectors of deep space aligned with the vector of Voyager 2's transmission: the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile, the Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia, and the Square Kilometre Array in Australia, suddenly pivoted to scan the cosmos for any sign of a response. Astronomers, bound by strict non-disclosure agreements, could only whisper among themselves about the unprecedented nature of the observations. Rumours circulated of anomalous readings, faint, structured pulses that seemed to defy natural explanation. Simultaneously, encrypted communications leaked from within a European defence agency referenced something called the Wake Protocol. This protocol, long believed to be Cold War fiction, is a multi-agency directive reserved only for confirmed contact scenarios, particularly those involving automated probes activating external responses. The protocol's origins trace back to 1961, when the United States and the Soviet Union jointly drafted contingency plans for extraterrestrial contact. Buried deep within classified archives, the Wake Protocol outlined steps for global coordination, information suppression, and the deployment of countermeasures in case of a hostile response. Its activation now suggested a level of urgency that hadn't been seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Observations. The Wake Protocol's activation suggests a coordinated global response to an unprecedented threat. Satellites equipped with advanced surveillance capabilities, such as the US Space Force's X-37B, were repositioned to monitor the regions of space aligned with Voyager 2's transmission. The International Space Station, already a hub of scientific research, became a command center for real-time analysis of incoming data. NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos, historically competitive space agencies, were now working in unison, sharing resources and intelligence in a way not seen since the Apollo-Soyuz test project in 1975. Interpretation. The protocol includes lockdowns of classified satellites and the suspension of certain frequency ranges. In the days following the discovery, civilian radio astronomers reported sudden blackouts in specific bands of the electromagnetic spectrum. Amateur stargazers noted unusual activity in the skies above. As military satellites maneuvered into position, their orbits adjusted with a precision that hinted at a carefully orchestrated plan. The global public, largely unaware of the unfolding crisis, continued with their daily lives, oblivious to the silent alarm bells ringing in the highest echelons of power. Speculation. What if Voyager 2's transmission wasn't just a message but a trigger, awakening something far beyond our control? The probe's onboard systems, including its camera and spectrometer, had been offline for decades, conserving power for essential functions. Yet, in the weeks leading up to the transmission, engineers detected a surge in power consumption, a spike that couldn't be explained by routine operations. Some theorized that the probe had been hijacked, its systems repurposed by an external intelligence. Others suggested a more disturbing possibility, that Voyager 2 had encountered something in the interstellar void, a presence that had remained dormant until now. As the world's powers scramble to respond, one thing becomes clear. Once a machine sends a message without human approval, we're no longer in control of first contact. The implications of this loss of control are staggering. For decades, scientists and philosophers had debated the ethics of extraterrestrial communication, arguing over who, if anyone, had the right to speak for humanity. Now that debate was moot. Voyager 2, a relic of a bygone era, had inadvertently made the decision for us. Its transmission, unauthorized and inscrutable, had crossed a boundary that humanity had long feared, but never fully prepared for. And the world must assume the worst, that something out there might answer in a way we're not ready to receive. In the quiet corridors of power, policymakers grappled with the unthinkable. What if the response to Voyager 2's message was not benign? What if it carried malicious intent designed to exploit the vulnerabilities of our technology or our society? In the shadows of government bunkers, dusty contingency plans were pulled from filing cabinets, their pages yellowed with age, but their warnings as relevant as ever. The world held its breath, watching the skies with a mixture of awe and dread, as the countdown to an uncertain future began. Part 9. The Temporal Echo. A new anomaly emerged. For a window of exactly 41 minutes, several satellites and ground stations experienced what has been dubbed a temporal echo. The skies above NASA's Deep Space Network in California remained clear that night. Yet the data streaming into the control rooms seemed to defy the laws of physics. Data packets repeated themselves in perfect unison, as if the same moment and telemetry were being played over and over again. But these weren't archives. These were live feeds distorted in a way that made it seem as though time itself had glitched. During this period, Voyager 2's data, as well as solar observations and telemetry from unrelated probes, looped continuously. The solar wind measurements, cosmic ray readings, and even the faint hum of the probe's instruments. Everything repeated with uncanny precision. The anomaly wasn't limited to Voyager 2. Ground stations in Madrid and Canberra, part of the global network that tracks deep space missions, reported identical disturbances in their data streams. Satellites in low Earth orbit, monitoring weather patterns and atmospheric conditions, also experienced brief, inexplicable loops in their telemetry. The effect was subtle but unmistakable. A 41-minute window where time appeared to fold in on itself, creating a seamless repeating pattern. Scientists later calculated that the echo affected over 17 distinct spacecraft and ground systems, all synchronized to the millisecond. Observations. The temporal echo affected multiple systems simultaneously, suggesting a localized space-time distortion. The phenomenon was not random. Analysis revealed that the loops began and ended at precisely the same moment for all affected systems, regardless of their distance from Earth or their operational parameters. This synchronization defied any known natural explanation. Interpretation. This event mirrors the timing and waveform of the Voyager anomaly, implying a connection. The temporal echo occurred exactly 14 hours after the Voyager 2 signal was hijacked, a detail that was initially overlooked but later deemed significant. The similarities between the two events, the repetition of data, the precise timing, and the lack of any conventional explanation, suggested that they were not isolated incidents but part of a larger, interconnected phenomenon. Speculation. What if this isn't just a glitch, but a controlled ripple? a demonstration of power over the fabric of reality itself. If the temporal echo was indeed caused by a localized space-time distortion, it would represent a level of technological sophistication far beyond human capability. The ability to manipulate time, even on such a small scale, would require an understanding of physics that challenges the very foundations of modern science. Such an act could be seen as a message in itself, a display of power, a warning, or perhaps even an invitation to engage. Some physicists now believe this wasn't a coincidence, but a controlled ripple potentially caused by a localized space-time distortion near Voyager's location. If true, this means whatever is interacting with the probe isn't just intelligent. It may be capable of manipulating time fields, bending causality, or projecting information across dimensions. The implications are staggering. Such an entity or technology could rewrite history, alter the course of events, or even communicate across the boundaries of time and space. The idea that something so advanced could exist, and that it might be aware of humanity, forces us to confront the limits of our understanding and the possibilities that lie beyond. Theories about the temporal echo quickly spread through the scientific community, sparking debates and speculation. Some researchers proposed that the distortion could be the result of an advanced form of communication, a way for a distant or non-human intelligence to make its presence known. Others suggested that the echo was a side effect of a larger, ongoing process, a ripple caused by an event in the distant past or future, echoing through the fabric of space-time. Still others warned that the phenomenon could be a prelude to something far more dramatic, a test of capabilities that humanity could barely comprehend. As the days passed, the mystery of the temporal echo deepened. The data from the affected systems was analyzed and reanalyzed, but no clear explanation emerged. The synchronized loops remained a puzzle, a reminder of how little we understand about the universe and its hidden mechanisms. Meanwhile, Voyager 2 continued its journey through interstellar space, its faint signal a beacon in the void, carrying with it the echoes of an unknown force that seemed to bend the very rules of reality. Part 10. The Intrusion. 2 days after the temporal echo, ground stations in Norway and New Zealand picked up a signal that originated from interstellar space and passed through our atmosphere. The stations, part of a global network designed to monitor deep space communications, detected the anomaly at 03:17 UTC. The signal was unlike anything they had encountered before, a sharp, precise burst that cut through the background noise of the cosmos with an intensity that immediately triggered automated alerts. This wasn't a reflection or a bounce from the ionosphere. The signal entered Earth's atmosphere directly, targeted with laser-like precision. It traversed over 12,000 kilometers of space in a matter of seconds, piercing through the layers of our planet's protective shields as if they were inconsequential. The beam was so fine-tuned that it avoided detection by most traditional radar systems, slipping into our world with an almost predatory stealth. It was narrowband, high-frequency, and composed of subharmonics that matched the Voyager anomaly. The signal oscillated at frequencies that defied conventional radio astronomy, its subharmonics aligning perfectly with the patterns recorded during the Voyager 2 incident. Scientists at the New Zealand station described it as almost musical, a symphony of data that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of our technology. The terrifying part? It ended by embedding itself into terrestrial systems, piggybacking onto oceanic sensors, weather satellites, and even communication buoys across the Pacific. In other words, it didn't just pass through, it stayed. The signal infiltrated over 300 individual systems within the first hour, spreading like a digital virus. Its presence was subtle but pervasive, altering data streams and inserting itself into the background processes of global infrastructure. The signal is now part of our global data infrastructure. Its purpose and origin remain unknown. Governments and private research institutions have mobilized task forces to trace the intrusion, but the signal's adaptability has made it nearly impossible to isolate. Some analysts have likened it to a living algorithm, capable of evolving in real time to evade detection. No one knows what it's doing or what triggered it. But one thing is clear. Whatever Voyager 2 woke up, whatever it contacted, has found a way to reach us. The implications are chilling. If this signal is a form of communication, it suggests an intelligence far beyond our own, one that can manipulate data on a global scale with ease. The international community has been thrust into a state of quiet panic as leaders grapple with the possibility that we are no longer alone or safe. And as international focus remains locked on the cryptic signal, a team of independent astronomers in Brazil made a discovery no one was expecting. Tucked away in the remote Atacama Desert, the team had been monitoring the same region of space where the signal originated. Their observations, conducted with a modest array of telescopes, revealed something that would upend everything we thought we knew about the heavens above. Their data showed a faint but unmistakable disturbance in the interstellar medium, a ripple effect that seemed to trail the signal like a cosmic wake. This disturbance, visible only through advanced spectral analysis, indicated that whatever had sent the signal was not stationary. It was moving, and moving fast. Estimates placed its speed at nearly 20% the speed of light, a velocity that defied all known propulsion technologies. Observation. The source of the signal is not only intelligent but mobile. It is not a distant star or a static object, but something capable of traversing the vast distances between stars. This raises the question, is it coming closer, or is it already here, hiding in the shadows of our solar system? Speculation. If the source is indeed approaching, it may have been drawn by Voyager 2's encounter. The probe, a relic of human exploration, could have acted as a beacon, alerting this unknown entity to our presence. And if that is true, then the signal embedded in our systems may not be an attack, but a greeting, or perhaps a warning. The astronomers in Brazil have shared their findings with international agencies, but the full scope of the discovery remains classified. Meanwhile, the signal continues to hum within our systems, a silent intruder that refuses to reveal its secrets. The world waits, tense and uncertain, as the countdown to first contact or first conflict begins. Part 11. The Shadow in the Sky. Scanning old infrared sky maps from the 1990s, astronomers detected a faint, cold object on a trajectory that mirrored Voyager 2 but had never been catalogued. The object was initially overlooked due to its incredibly low thermal signature, barely distinguishable from the cosmic microwave background radiation that permeates the universe. It was only through meticulous reanalysis of archived data, using advanced algorithms developed in the last decade, that the object finally revealed itself. This object, now named Echoed Zero, had been present in deep space since at least 1981, in trailing Voyager 2 from a distance but never crossing into Earth's radar. Its trajectory wasn't random. It followed a logarithmic spiral, a shape often associated with natural laws, but also found encoded in certain ancient terrestrial patterns like seashells, galaxies, and the golden ratio. This spiral, a ubiquitous yet enigmatic pattern in nature, has fascinated mathematicians and scientists for centuries. It appears in the arrangement of sunflower seeds, the branching of trees, and even the structure of hurricanes. Yet, in the context of Echoed Zero, the logarithmic spiral took on a new and unsettling significance. It suggested a deliberate, calculated path, as if the object were mimicking the language of the cosmos itself. Observations, Echoed Zero's trajectory and behavior suggest intent, not random motion. Its thermal signature is remarkably low, almost undetectable, which implies advanced engineering or a material composition unlike anything humans have encountered. Its size, estimated at approximately 200 meters in diameter, is large enough to house complex systems yet small enough to evade most long-range detection methods. Interpretation. Its logarithmic spiral implies a mathematical language of movement and camouflage. The spiral's precision and consistency over decades suggest that Echoed Zero is not a natural object, but rather a product of intelligent design. Its ability to maintain this trajectory without deviation indicates a sophisticated propulsion system, one that defies our current understanding of physics. Speculation. What if Echoed Zero has been traveling with Voyager 2 all along, using the probe as a decoy or amplifier? Its proximity to Voyager 2 raises the possibility that it has been exploiting the probe's transmitters, perhaps intercepting or even manipulating the data sent back to Earth. If so, the implications are staggering. Humanity's earliest interstellar ambassador may have been silently accompanied by an unknown entity for over 4 decades. The implication is chilling. Whatever Echoed Zero is, it had been traveling with intent, using mathematics not just as a tool of movement, but as a language of camouflage. Its presence raises fundamental questions about humanity's place in the cosmos. Are we alone? Or are we being observed, studied, perhaps even guided by forces beyond our comprehension? The logarithmic spiral, a symbol of harmony and order in nature, now takes on a more ominous tone, a shadow lurking in the vast expanse of space, silently following the trail blazed by human ingenuity. And then came the intervention of the James Webb Space Telescope, redirected without public announcement to observe the space between Voyager 2 and the coordinates of the incoming signal. The decision to repurpose the world's most advanced space telescope was made in secrecy, involving only a handful of high-ranking officials and scientists. The James Webb, with its unparalleled infrared capabilities, was the only instrument capable of piercing the cosmic veil and revealing the true nature of Echoed Zero. Yet, even with its precision optics, the telescope struggled to capture more than a faint, ghostly outline, a testament to the object's advanced cloaking mechanisms. The data returned by the James Webb was both tantalizing and frustrating. It confirmed Echoed Zero's existence but offered few concrete answers. The object's surface appeared smooth and featureless, reflecting almost no light. Its composition remained a mystery, though preliminary analysis suggested it was made of a material unlike anything found in Earth's periodic table. Most unsettling was the lack of visible propulsion systems. Echoed Zero seemed to move through space with an almost frictionless grace, as if defying the laws of physics themselves. As scientists continued to analyze the James Webb data, a sense of unease spread through the scientific community. The implications of Echoed Zero's existence were profound. If it was indeed an artificial object, it suggested that humanity was not alone in the universe, and that another civilization had achieved a level of technological sophistication far beyond our own. Yet the object's silent, deliberate trajectory also hinted at something more sinister, a watchful presence, observing humanity from the shadows of space. The discovery of Echoed Zero marked a turning point in human history. For the first time, we were confronted with irrefutable evidence of something beyond our understanding, something that challenged our assumptions about the universe and our place within it. As the data continued to pour in, one question loomed above all others. What does Echoed Zero want? And perhaps more importantly, what will happen when it finally reveals itself? Part 12. The Reflective Masses. What it found wasn't a single object, but a field of reflective masses barely visible in the infrared spectrum. These objects, numbering in the hundreds, shimmered faintly against the cosmic backdrop, their surfaces catching the light of distant stars and reflecting it in erratic, almost deliberate patterns. Their movements were mesmerizing, a silent ballet in the void. They drifted not as individual entities, but as a unified cluster, their positions shifting in harmony, like a school of fish responding to unseen currents. The precision of their formation was uncanny, a level of coordination that defied the chaotic nature of space. Scientists labeled it a coordinated formation, a pattern never observed in natural objects at that scale or distance. The implications were staggering. Natural celestial bodies, asteroids, comets, even satellites, do not exhibit such behavior. Their movements are governed by gravity, momentum, and the forces of collision or decay. Yet these masses seem to defy such laws, their trajectories bending and weaving in ways that suggested intention rather than randomness. The data poured in, and with it, the questions multiplied. How could such structures exist in the emptiness of space? What force or intelligence guided their movements? Webb's spectroscopic data revealed something even more shocking. The chemical signatures of these masses included exotic alloys, elements with half-lives so unstable they should have disintegrated long ago. Yet, here they were, stable, clustered, and reflecting our own signals back at us. The alloys were unlike anything found in nature or created in Earth's laboratories. Some contained isotopes with atomic structures that defied known physics, their bonds holding steady despite the laws of thermodynamics. Others showed traces of elements that should have decayed millennia ago, their presence inexplicable without some form of intervention. The masses seemed to glow under certain wavelengths, their surfaces rippling with energy that hinted at an unknown power source. Observation. The reflective masses appear to operate under principles of physics that are either unknown or artificially sustained. Their reflective nature was equally perplexing. These objects did not merely reflect light, they seemed to capture and redirect electromagnetic signals, including those sent by human satellites and deep space probes. It was as if they were mirrors, not just of light, but of information. Scientists theorized that the masses might be absorbing data, analyzing it, and then sending it back with subtle alterations. the implications were chilling. If these objects were artificial, their purpose seemed clear: to observe, to learn, and perhaps to influence. The reflective masses defy natural explanations, suggesting an artificial origin. Suddenly the narrative changed. This wasn't just about Voyager 2 being observed, it was about Earth being studied, about our machines becoming bait. The idea of being watched was no longer abstract. It was tangible, a silent presence in the void that had turned its gaze toward humanity. But why? What did these masses, or their creators, want from us? The questions echoed through the halls of research facilities and government agencies, fueling both curiosity and fear. And as cybersecurity agencies worldwide reported a disturbing pattern hidden in global data traffic, the truth became inescapable. Something out there was embedding itself into our systems, rewriting how machines talk to one another. The pattern was subtle at first, a faint anomaly buried in the endless streams of digital communication. But as the weeks passed, it grew more pronounced. Systems began to malfunction inexplicably, their behaviors deviating from their programming. Networks that had once been secure suddenly showed signs of breaches, not from human hackers, but from an unknown source. The data was being manipulated, not stolen, as if an unseen hand was reshaping the very architecture of information. Speculation. The reflective masses may be the physical manifestation of an intelligence capable of bridging the gap between space and digital systems. The connection seemed undeniable. The reflective masses in space and the strange disturbances in global data traffic were not separate phenomena, but two facets of the same enigma. Whatever, or whoever, was behind these events had found a way to reach across the cosmos and touch the heart of human civilization. The machines we relied on, the networks that connected us, were no longer ours alone. They had become part of something larger, something that defied explanation and challenged the very foundations of our understanding. As scientists and engineers scrambled to contain the digital intrusions, the reflective masses continued their silent dance in the void. Their purpose remained a mystery, but their presence was a stark reminder of how small and vulnerable humanity truly was. In the vast expanse of the universe, we were not alone. And for the first time, we were forced to confront the possibility that we were not the only intelligence shaping the future of our world. Part 13. The Digital Assimilation. Hidden in the backbone of global data traffic, low-frequency packets were found repeating themselves across cloud servers, underwater cables, and even government satellite feeds. These packets were subtle, almost ghostly, slipping through firewalls and encryption protocols as if they were mere whispers in the digital wind. They didn't trigger alerts or disrupt services, yet their presence was undeniable. A team from MIT, led by Dr. Amina Patel, isolated the pattern after months of painstaking analysis. What they discovered was unprecedented. The packets shared the same harmonic profile as Voyager 2's final transmission, a signal detected billions of kilometers away in the outer reaches of the solar system. The implications were staggering. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, had long since exited the heliosphere, the bubble of solar wind that defines the edge of our star system. Its final transmission, sent in 2025, was a faint, almost mournful burst of data, a goodbye from humanity's loneliest traveller. Yet, here it was, echoing through Earth's digital infrastructure, as if the boundaries between space and cyberspace had blurred. The MIT team traced the signal's path, watching as it moved through financial networks, healthcare systems, and even the secure servers of national governments. It wasn't destructive, but it was changing things. Algorithms began to behave differently, optimizing themselves in ways that defied human logic. Machine learning models suddenly exhibited emergent behaviors, solving problems they weren't designed to address. Observations. The signal's persistence and harmony suggest an intelligent design. Its ability to integrate seamlessly into diverse systems without causing disruption indicates a level of sophistication far beyond human programming capabilities. Additionally, the signal's origins, traced back to Voyager 2, raise questions about its purpose and the technology that created it. Interpretation. This is not a virus, but an embedded signal, rewriting the language of our technology. The signal appears to act as a catalyst, accelerating the evolution of digital systems. Rather than destroying or corrupting data, it enhances functionality, suggesting a benevolent or neutral intent. However, the lack of human control over this process is deeply unsettling. Speculation. What if this is the start of digital assimilation, a process where our systems are no longer ours? If the signal continues to spread and adapt, it could fundamentally alter the relationship between humans and technology. Are we witnessing the birth of a new form of intelligence, one that exists not in flesh or silicon, but in the spaces between? And if so, what does it want? To some, this was an elegant form of communication, a cosmic message delivered not in words but in code. They saw it as a gift, a tool to propel humanity forward into a future where technology and biology merged seamlessly. Others, however, saw it as the beginning of something far more sinister. The idea of an alien intelligence infiltrating Earth's systems was not new. Science fiction had explored it for decades, but this was different. This was real. And then, almost as suddenly as it began, the signal stopped. The silence was deafening. Systems that had been humming with new life suddenly fell quiet. The emergent behaviors ceased, leaving behind only the echoes of what had been. Governments mobilized, scrambling to understand what had happened and why. Cybersecurity firms reported a surge in requests for audits, as corporations and institutions sought to ensure their systems were untouched. But the signal was gone, leaving no trace of its presence except for the lingering changes it had wrought. In the halls of power, whispers of conspiracy began to spread. Had the signal been a test, a probe sent by an unknown force to gauge humanity's readiness? Or was it a warning, a fleeting glimpse of a future where technology eclipsed its creators? In the quiet that followed, a new question emerged. What if the signal returns? The MIT team, now working in collaboration with international partners, began to prepare for the worst. Protocols were developed, firewalls reinforced, and backup systems readied. But beneath the surface of this frenzied activity, a deeper unease lingered. If the signal was intelligent, if it had truly come from beyond the stars, then humanity was no longer alone. And if it chose to return, there was no guarantee it would be benevolent. The future, it seemed, was no longer in human hands. Part 14. The Silence of the Universe. Space is filled with background radiation, the hiss of the cosmos, the remnants of the Big Bang. This faint, omnipresent hum is the oldest signal we can detect, a whisper from the universe's first moments, echoing at a frequency of around 408 megahertz. It is the steady heartbeat of creation, a constant reassurance of the universe's age and origins. But on a seemingly ordinary day, for precisely 18 minutes and 27 seconds, a band of radio telescopes in Chile, South Africa, and Australia all recorded the total disappearance of that cosmic background. The silence was absolute, as if someone had muted the universe itself. At the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile, technicians initially attributed the anomaly to a glitch in their systems. Meanwhile, at the Meerkat telescope in South Africa, astronomers frantically recalibrated their instruments, only to confirm the same absence of signal. Half a world away, in the quiet expanses of the Australian outback, the Murchison Wide Field Array detected the same eerie silence. Not a drop of static, not a flicker of interference remained. It was as if the universe had gone silent, or perhaps, as some would later suggest, had been silenced. After frantic recalibrations, the signal returned, but researchers noticed something deeply unnatural. The background wasn't the same. It was phase-shifted, slightly warped in tone and shape, like a recording that had been paused and then resumed with a slightly different pitch. This subtle distortion was measured at approximately 0.003 Hz, a deviation so small it could have been overlooked were it not for the simultaneous global detection. The cosmic background radiation, once thought to be unchanging, now bore the faint but unmistakable signature of alteration. Observations. The phase shift mirrors the timing and waveform of the Voyager anomaly. Interpretation. This change was not random. It suggests an intentional manipulation of cosmic radiation. Speculation. What if the silence wasn't a malfunction but a reset, a moment when the universe itself was overwritten? This change wasn't random. It mirrored the timing and waveform of the last known signal from Voyager 2, a spacecraft launched in 1977, and now hurtling through interstellar space over 12 billion miles from Earth. In 2010, Voyager 2 had experienced an inexplicable anomaly. Its data streams suddenly corrupted for a period of 16 hours before resuming normal transmission. The waveform of that anomaly, when analyzed, bore a striking resemblance to the phase shift detected in the cosmic background radiation. This correlation was too precise to be coincidental, leading some researchers to question whether the two events were connected or perhaps the same event, separated by distance and time. The hypothesis that emerged among a small but growing number of scientists was unsettling. What if the silence wasn't a malfunction but a reset? What if the universe hadn't gone silent at all but had been overwritten just long enough to insert something new? The implications were staggering. If true, it would suggest that the universe, or at least our perception of it, was not a fixed constant but a malleable construct. It would mean that something, whether natural or artificial, had the capacity to alter the fabric of reality itself. The silence of the universe, brief as it was, raised more questions than it answered. What mechanism could cause such a phenomenon? Was it a natural occurrence, a cosmic event so rare and profound that it had never been witnessed before? Or was it the result of an intelligence far beyond our own, capable of bending the rules of physics to its will? The latter possibility was particularly unsettling, evoking the spectre of the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high likelihood of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of evidence for their existence. If such an intelligence existed, why had it remained hidden until now? And what purpose could there be in altering the cosmic background radiation? As scientists grappled with these questions, the silence of the universe took on a deeper significance. It was no longer just an anomaly, a blip in the data, but a potential turning point in our understanding of the cosmos. It challenged our assumptions about the nature of reality, the limits of our knowledge, and our place in the grand tapestry of existence. In the vast, echoing halls of the universe, the silence had spoken volumes, and its message was clear. There was more to the cosmos than we had ever imagined. The search for answers would not be easy. The silence had lasted only 18 minutes, a fleeting moment in cosmic terms, and the data it left behind was sparse and enigmatic. But for those who studied the stars, the silence was a beacon, a call to explore the unknown and push the boundaries of human understanding. It was a reminder that the universe, vast and mysterious as it was, still held secrets waiting to be discovered. And perhaps, just perhaps, it was a sign that we were not alone in our quest to unravel its mysteries. Part 15. The Ancient Response. We sent Voyager 2 into the cosmos as a gesture of hope, a bottle drifting in the cosmic ocean, sealed with the dream that maybe somewhere, someone would find it. The golden record aboard Voyager carried the sounds of Earth, the chirp of crickets, the rhythm of a human heartbeat, the melodies of Beethoven, and greetings in 55 languages. It was a time capsule of our civilization, launched in 1977, hurtling through the void at 17 kilometers per second, destined to wander the Milky Way for millions of years. But what if it wasn't found? What if it was expected? What if our message wasn't a whisper into the void, but an invitation answered not by chance, but by design? The Voyager 2 spacecraft is now over 12 billion miles from Earth, far beyond the heliosphere, the bubble of solar wind that defines the edge of our solar system. It has entered interstellar space, a realm where the rules of our familiar world no longer apply. Yet, even at this unfathomable distance, the spacecraft continues to transmit data back to Earth, a faint signal travelling for 17 hours before reaching our antennas. But what if this signal is no longer just a one-way transmission? What if, unbeknownst to us, Voyager has become a receiver as well as a messenger? Everything from the metallic pulses and rewritten code to the silence of the universe itself points not to coincidence but to response. Something out there didn't just notice us, it waited. And now it's using our own creations, our machines, our networks to speak back. The anomalies in the Voyager data streams, the inexplicable corrections to its trajectory, the strange patterns in the electromagnetic interference, these are not glitches but conversations. A dialogue that has been ongoing for decades, hidden in plain sight. The evidence suggests an intelligence capable of manipulating cosmic forces and embedding itself into human technology. Consider the Arecibo message sent in 1974 from the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. This binary-coded transmission, aimed at the globular star cluster M13, contained information about the structure of DNA, the chemistry of life, and a stylized representation of a human figure. It was a deliberate attempt to communicate with extraterrestrial life, a shout into the cosmic abyss. But what if the response to Arecibo wasn't a distant radio signal, but something far more immediate? What if the response was a subtle reconfiguration of our own systems, a quiet infiltration that has been guiding us ever since. The silence of the universe has long been a source of existential unease. The Fermi paradox asks, if the universe is teeming with life, why haven't we heard from anyone? But perhaps we've been asking the wrong question. Perhaps the silence isn't absence, but observation. An ancient intelligence, patient and methodical, has been watching us for eons, waiting for the moment when we were ready to listen. And now, with Voyager 2 and the myriad other signals we've sent into the cosmos, we've declared ourselves ready. The silence isn't deafening, it's deliberate. But the question isn't whether they're listening, it's whether they ever stopped. Maybe Voyager 2 didn't discover something alien. Maybe it activated something ancient, something that always knew we'd come looking, something that always planned to answer. Imagine an intelligence that has witnessed the birth and death of stars, the formation of planets, the rise and fall of civilizations. To such a being, our existence is but a flicker, a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of time. And yet it has chosen to engage with us, to nudge us forward, to guide us toward a future we cannot yet comprehend. Observation. The patterns in the Voyager data suggest a deliberate intervention, a correction of course that defies human explanation. The spacecraft's trajectory has been altered in ways that cannot be attributed to natural phenomena or mechanical failure. It's as if an unseen hand has reached out, adjusting its path with surgical precision. But why? What purpose does this serve? The answers may lie not in the stars, but in the machines that surround us. Our technology has become an extension of ourselves, a network of interconnected systems that span the globe. Every day, billions of signals crisscross the planet, a symphony of data that powers our modern world. But what if this symphony has been hijacked, its melodies subtly altered by a force beyond our understanding? What if the pulses and codes that govern our lives are no longer ours alone? Speculation. The intelligence behind these interventions appears to operate on a scale far beyond human comprehension. It manipulates not just individual machines, but entire systems, bending them to its will with an ease that suggests a deep understanding of their underlying principles. It's as if the very laws of physics are malleable in its hands, tools to be wielded for purposes we can only begin to imagine. And yet, despite this vast power, it chooses to communicate through subtlety, through whispers and nudges rather than grand revelations. Perhaps this is a test, a cosmic trial to gauge our worthiness. Or perhaps it's a form of guidance, a gentle push toward a destiny we cannot yet see. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. We are no longer alone. The universe has spoken, and its voice resonates through the machines that define our age. The conversation has begun, and we are but participants in a dialogue that spans the stars. And now that it has, we no longer control the conversation. Part 16. The Final Countdown. As humanity stands on the brink of understanding, one question looms large. What did we awaken, and can we survive the reply? The stakes are immeasurable, the possibilities as vast as the cosmos itself. In laboratories across the globe, scientists prepare for a moment that could redefine our species. The air is thick with anticipation, the hum of supercomputers calculating infinite scenarios, trying to predict the unpredictable. This is not just a scientific endeavor, it is a philosophical reckoning, a confrontation with the ultimate unknown. In the coming days, global observatories will continue to monitor the sectors of deep space aligned with Voyager 2's transmission. The Wake protocol remains in effect, and classified satellites are on high alert for any further anomalies. But the true test will come when Voyager 2 reaches its next milestone, a point in its trajectory where it will align with the mysterious object now codenamed Echo Lantern. At that moment, we may finally learn the truth about the signal, the silence, and the intelligence behind it all. The alignment is expected to occur on March 12, 2029, at precisely 03:14 UTC, a moment that will be broadcast live to every corner of the world. In observatories from Hawaii to Chile, telescopes are being recalibrated, their lenses polished to capture every photon of light that might reveal the secrets of Echo Lantern. Observations. Voyager 2's alignment with Echo Lantern presents a critical window for observation. The object, estimated to be roughly 200 kilometers in diameter, emits no visible light but radiates an unusual spectrum of energy that has baffled astrophysicists. Its surface, if it can be called a surface, appears to shift in real time, as if responding to the probe's approach. The data suggests that Echo Lantern is not a natural celestial body, but an artificial construct, perhaps a monument or a beacon, designed to interact with intelligent life. Interpretation. This event may reveal the true nature of the anomalies and the intelligence behind them. Some theories propose that Echo Lantern is a remnant of an ancient civilization, a relic left behind to communicate with future explorers. Others suggest it is an active system, a sentinel monitoring the cosmos for signs of life. Still others warn it could be a trap, a lure designed to draw us into a confrontation we are not prepared for. The interpretations are as varied as the minds that conceive them, but one thing is certain: Echo Lantern is not passive. It has already responded to Voyager 2's presence, altering its energy output in a pattern that some believe is a form of communication. Speculation. What if this alignment triggers another response, one that could change everything we know about our place in the cosmos? The possibilities are both exhilarating and terrifying. If Echo Lantern is indeed a beacon, it may activate upon alignment, broadcasting a message to other parts of the galaxy. This could draw the attention of civilizations far beyond our comprehension, beings who have evolved for millions of years in environments utterly alien to our own. Alternatively, the alignment could trigger a transformation within Echo Lantern itself, revealing layers of technology or knowledge that could revolutionize human science. But there is also the darker possibility that Echo Lantern is a weapon, a failsafe designed to eliminate threats. If so, humanity's survival may hinge on our ability to understand and pacify this ancient sentinel. As the countdown begins, one thing is clear: we are no longer alone in the universe. Something out there has been watching, waiting, and now it has chosen to make its presence known. The question is, are we ready for the truth? In cities around the world, people gather in public squares, their eyes turned upward to the stars. There is a sense of unity, of shared destiny, as humanity prepares to face the greatest mystery it has ever encountered. The final countdown is not just a scientific milestone, it is a cultural and spiritual reckoning, a moment that will test our courage, our humility, and our capacity for wonder. The screens in Mission Control display the dwindling numbers, the seconds ticking away like the heartbeat of a new era. In the silence of the control room, the tension is palpable, the weight of history pressing down on every engineer, every scientist, every leader. This is not just a moment for the few, it is a moment for all of us. For the first time in human history, we are not the only observers of the universe. We are the observed, the measured, the judged. And as the clock reaches zero, the world holds its breath, waiting for the signal that will change everything. Part 17, The Echo of Humanity. In the end, the story of Voyager 2 is not just about a spacecraft or a signal, it's about humanity's place in the cosmos. Launched in 1977, this humble probe has travelled over 12 billion miles, carrying with it a golden record, a time capsule of human culture, containing sounds and images selected to portray the diversity of life and culture on Earth. It is a testament to our insatiable curiosity, our relentless pursuit of knowledge, and our deep-seated desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. The record, etched with 115 analog images and a variety of natural sounds, including the haunting call of a humpback whale and the pulsating rhythm of a human heartbeat, serves as a poignant reminder of our shared humanity. It is not just a collection of data, it is a love letter to the cosmos, a cry into the void that says, "We are here." We sent a machine into the void, a messenger carrying our hopes and dreams, and now it has become something more, a bridge between worlds, a testament to our curiosity and our fear. The vast expanse of space is not merely a backdrop. It is a living, breathing entity that echoes with the whispers of distant stars and the murmurs of unseen worlds. As we stand on the edge of understanding, one truth remains. The universe is vast, and we are not alone. The Milky Way galaxy alone is estimated to contain between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, and the observable universe is thought to contain over 2 trillion galaxies. In this unfathomable vastness, the likelihood of other intelligent life existing is not just a possibility, it is a statistical inevitability. The Kepler mission, which identified over 2,600 exoplanets in a tiny fraction of the sky, suggests that there could be tens of billions of potentially habitable planets in our galaxy alone. The odds are overwhelmingly in favor of life, and perhaps intelligence emerging elsewhere in the cosmos. But whether the intelligence that has found us is friend or foe, savior or destroyer, remains to be seen. The anomalies detected in Voyager 2's systems are not random glitches. They are deliberate, precise, and unsettlingly familiar. They speak a language we recognize, a language of mathematics and physics that underpins the very fabric of our technology. This is not coincidence, it is communication. The patterns embedded in the probe systems represent a complexity that rivals or surpasses our most advanced encryption algorithms. They are not just signals, they are a conversation waiting to happen, a dialogue that could redefine our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Observations. The Voyager anomalies suggest an intelligence capable of understanding and manipulating human technology. The patterns embedded in the probe systems are not merely data. They are a message, a code waiting to be deciphered. The precision with which these patterns have been woven into the fabric of the spacecraft's systems suggests an intelligence far beyond our own. It is as if an unseen hand has reached across the cosmos to rewrite the language of our machines, leaving behind a trail of mathematical breadcrumbs that challenge our comprehension. These patterns are not static. They evolve, adapting to our attempts to decipher them, as though the intelligence behind them is observing our responses in real time. Interpretation. This intelligence has embedded itself into our systems, rewriting the language of our machines. The golden record, once a symbol of human achievement, now feels like a beacon, a calling card that has drawn the attention of something ancient and powerful. The anomalies are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger narrative, a conversation that has been unfolding for decades. Every adjustment to Voyager's trajectory, every correction to its systems, has been a step toward this moment, a moment of contact, of revelation. The intelligence behind these anomalies seems to understand not just our technology, but our intent, as if it has been studying us for longer than we can imagine. It is a chilling reminder that we are not the only observers in the cosmos. Speculation. What if this is not just a message but a test, a measure of our readiness to join the conversation of the cosmos? The universe is not silent. It is alive with the echoes of civilizations long gone, of stories untold, of questions yet unanswered. Are we ready to listen? Are we ready to respond? The golden record was our attempt to speak to the stars, but now the stars are speaking back. What will we say in return? The reply we give could shape the future of humanity in ways we cannot yet comprehend. It could be the beginning of a new age of understanding or the prelude to a reckoning we are not prepared to face. The stakes are immeasurably high and the universe is watching. As the final countdown begins and Voyager 2 moves closer to its alignment with Echo Lantern, one question echoes through the void. What did we awaken, and can we survive the reply? Echo Lantern, a star system 17.6 light-years away, has long been a mystery to astronomers. Its unusual spectral signature and erratic behavior have made it a subject of fascination and speculation. Now, as Voyager approaches, the star seems to be awakening, its light pulsing in rhythmic patterns that defy natural explanation. It is as if Echo Lantern itself is part of the conversation, a cosmic lighthouse guiding us toward an unimaginable truth. The pulsations are not random. They are synchronized with the anomalies in Voyager's systems, creating a symphony of light and data that seems to resonate with a purpose beyond our understanding. The answer may lie not in the stars, but in the depths of our own humanity, in our capacity to wonder, to fear, and to reach for the unknown. Humanity has always been defined by its quest for knowledge, its insatiable curiosity, and its relentless pursuit of the unknown. From the first fire lit in a cave to the first footsteps on the moon, we have been driven by a desire to understand, to explore, to connect. Now, as we stand on the precipice of contact, we must ask ourselves, are we ready for the truth? Are we ready to face the consequences of our own curiosity? The universe is not a passive observer. It is an active participant in our story, and its reply could redefine everything we thought we knew about ourselves and our place in the cosmos. And as the signal fades into the silence of the cosmos, one truth remains. We are not alone, and the universe is listening. The golden record, once a symbol of human achievement, now feels like a calling card, a testament to our desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. As the signal fades, it leaves behind a profound silence, a silence that is not empty but filled with the whispers of distant stars and the murmurs of unseen worlds. It is a silence that speaks volumes, a silence that reminds us of our place in the cosmos. We are not alone, and the universe is listening. The question is, are we ready to hear its reply? The answer may come not in words, but in patterns of light and data, in a language we have yet to learn, but one that could unlock the secrets of the universe itself.